Why do you want them to listen to your podcast?
So that when they think about starting a business, they've got the content that is pointing them in the right direction.
That is such a valuable piece of advice there.
The change in mindset makes a massive difference.
Welcome to Aussie Lawn Stars.
Brad, welcome back to the dungeon. We are going in for round 3. And I want to know, in WA, where everything's different, when you started, we're going back 11 years ago, so it's changed a little bit over the last 11 years. But in that time that you've been running business, did you have a clear goal of how much you need to charge to make money, or has that been something you learnt along the way?
It's an interesting. I listen to these chats all the time, and I guess there's no right or wrong answer, because I find and this was back in 2013, and I just plucked this number. I don't know why, but I just had in my mind I want to make $100 an hour. Yeah, and that was in 2013 when I started. And I hadn't done any research. I hadn't done whatever. I just thought it was a good, nice number to aim for.
Yeah.
And work towards. So, but I just find hourly rates are hard, especially once you start getting staff as well, because what I can do in an hour doesn't mean someone's going to do the same. So
that's a really good point there, because once you start paying an employee to do work, you've got to think about whether you're getting value from the employee and whether your customer's getting value from the employee.
Yeah, it is a real tough one. So I think hourly rate, I don't even look at hourly rates anymore. I basically know the figure I got to turn over a week to basically be in profit. Yeah. So I work on that personally now, because I find once you get to staff, everyone's got pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses, and you just got to work out what it is and work towards their strengths, and how to maximize their time. But when I started, I just wanted to get to $100 an hour, and I found I got there pretty easily.
Yeah.
So and that was basically, and that included travel time. So it was like, if I'm out on the road for 8 hours, I want to be doing $800 worth. I want to have $100 of work at the end of the day, which, that wasn't happening straight away, because I think when you first start, you are traveling a little bit more.
Yeah.
So your consolidation comes over time, and I was happy to take work anywhere. So I think even when I had 150, 160 clients, I was spread over 42 suburbs.
Yeah, wow.
Which sounds like a lot, but the furthest point, it was only like maybe 30-minute drive from one point to the other, and I would never do that whole lot. I would sort of group 6 or 7 suburbs together.
Yeah,
and that's the area I'm covering for that day.
Yeah. I think it's really important what you were saying. You've changed from the hourly rate, the $100 an hour you were aiming for, to now what you need to turn over for a week. And turnover versus profit is massive difference at the end of the day. But I think that's important to look at those turnover numbers and work out whether they are profitable.
Yes,
to know where you're standing at, right? So if you look at it, if you just say you're working out how much you need to turn over in a week, for somebody starting out a business, they'd go, that's really daunting. Whereas if you look at going, well, how much do I need to make an hour? Then that's probably more what they're used to, given that they would have been working for an hourly rate before they started the business. So the importance in splitting it up between those different things is that it allows you to take into account downtime and travel time and employees and all those various factors that will adversely affect your rates. So if you go $100 an hour, that's $800 a day. That's going to be, what are we talking, 40 hours a week?
Yep.
Yeah, so $4,000 a week. Yeah, those are some realistic numbers that you can put in front of yourself, and then you can go, okay, if I'm aiming for $4,000 a week, then I need to be aiming for $800 a day.
Yeah, and like I said, I did that at the start, and I got there, and obviously I've made it go a lot higher than that now, which is good. But I've done that by adding. I've bought client lists over the years and filled pockets where I didn't have as many clients to basically spend more time in a smaller density of area, so you're not traveling much between jobs.
Yeah,
and that's the easiest way.
That's one of the important things when you've got employees, is working out how many unbillable hours you're paying them
Mm.
to sit in the car, having a
Yep.
smoko, having a sandwich.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. My guys don't generally they do stop, but I let them choose their own breaks.
Yeah.
So if they want to push through for 8 hours straight and not have a break, which majority they do, they just eat on the run, which is what I do, as you do. That's what they do, and so there's very little downtime I find with my guys. And where I said I used to cover 6 or 7 suburbs a day, I've got that down to eat one trailers in probably 1 or 2 suburbs for a day.
Yeah.
So
and that makes a big difference when you've got 3 or 4 guys running around. If you can minimize their travel time, then you're more profitable. Your business is more profitable at the end of the day.
Yep, and it doesn't mean that I'm charging a lot more than I was 10 years ago. It's just the travel time has got very minimal between the jobs, which is obviously I've had price rises, but you minimise my travel time massively.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Luke Smith about this previously, and one of the things we talked about was the hourly rate necessary for somebody who's doing a fair bit of travelling versus somebody who's got one job that takes all day.
Yep.
And, your hourly rate is going to make a big difference, but you're still aiming for, your $800 a day, whatever it happens to be.
Yep, 100%. And it's a different. You've almost got to look at it every 12 months and assess where your business is at to where you want to get to in the next 12 months. So, because what you were doing 12 months ago is going to be the same as what you're doing in the next 12 months. Yeah. So, at first, you just take on any work you can. If you only got 3 jobs a day because you haven't got much on, it doesn't really matter how much you travel your time between because you're going to get those done in the hours, but using more expenses, but you still need to do the work. So there's so many varying factors.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things that comes up, and I've talked about this with my cemetery I used to do. If you reduce your travel time because you're doing one job all day, but then you're using a ride-on mower for 5 to 8 hours in one day, whereas on the smaller jobs, your ride-on mower is only going to get used for 3 or 4 hours over the course of the whole day because it's just simply not it's not running the blades all day. It's sitting in the trailer for half the day.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So, now I find generally when most of my guys are in teams of 2 all the time, they're doing 20 to 25 jobs a day between 2 of them. So, if you're traveling 10 minutes between each job, you're not going to get those done in 8 hours. Yeah. So, you got to. If you can get that right, and it's not easy to do, instead of taking me years to get it right, it's because sometimes there's a lot of lawn mowing contractors around, and there's a lot of people that hold on to the good ones for a long time.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? So you're going to do the same thing when you're building your run up. You're going to hang on to your best customers and let go of your worst customers.
Yeah.
Or reprice your worst customers so that they become your best customers.
Well, that's right. I've always had the mentality there's no shit job. It's basically if it's priced right, then I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while too. It's like if put the price at a point where you smile when you turn up.
Yeah, if you rock up and using a rotary and half it's sand or whatever, but it's you're getting $90 and you're only there for 40 minutes or whatever, then that's fine.
Yeah.
So as long as they do it regularly and pay their bill on time, then you're happy. Move on.
Yeah.
I've slightly moved away from that work.
There's plenty of businesses out there that use an excavator and dig holes in the ground, and so if you're using a lawnmower to dig holes in the ground, as long as you're getting paid for it,
that's right. Cheaper as well.
I saw a video this week of a plumber using a snake, and a plumbing snake is used for clearing a block drain. But what they were doing is, as they was dragging it back, they were getting sewage spraying straight up their leg. And I looked at that and I go, yeah, there's no amount of money that I could smile doing that.
No, I know a plumber and he loves unblocking drains. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? Like, he just loves it. One of those weird fetishes, I think.
There's some interesting plumbers out there. I came across one recently that specialises in emptying septic tanks.
Yeah.
And he's got his own homebrew.
Oh.
So when he empties your septic tank, he gives you a bottle of his homebrew, and it's labelled accordingly. So it's like, I'm not sure I want to drink that.
Oh no, not the best job I'd want to do, but everyone's got to love something.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it comes back to the reason we were talking about that is because you don't have shit jobs. You find jobs that you go, okay, well, am I enjoying this job? And if not, what do I need to change about it to make it enjoyable?
And the one thing to make any job enjoyable is the price.
Well, one of the things I've come across numerous times, and I don't know how you find this in WA, but a lot of mid-range jobs have dogs that leave their business all over the lawn.
Yep.
And I see people saying, I wouldn't do that job. And I get it. There's certainly a place and a time where you go, I won't do that job.
Yep.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there that need their lawn cut and their dog poo picked up.
Yeah, we don't get many of those jobs. I've actually, with the systems that I use, and like I said, I put in place, all my customers get a text the day before that we're coming.
Yeah.
So they know we're coming, and if they forget to pick up the dog poo, they'll get a personal message from me saying, next time, can you make it picked up? And then generally it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So, you might have the odd one or two where, it's happened from when they've left for work in the morning, but you never really, I don't have any really covered lawns these days, because it is the worst. It's horrible.
It is, but at the same time, it's kind of like that plumber. It's like you make sure you get paid accordingly. If you talk to your customers.
You could put a poo tax on their bill, I guess.
Well, it's just the expectation. You got a dog, then this is part of the service.
Yeah.
Or you got a dog, you're not my customer.
Yeah, well, that's some people like that. And generally, if they've got a dog, the lawn isn't as nice. So it's...
I've got 2 dogs and I can attest to this.
Yeah. Oh, I've actually got fake grass at the back of mine because my dog destroyed it.
Well, I've got... And this is an interesting topic. We want to talk more about the novelty of doing lawns in West Australia. But I've had this discussion with a few people, and I'll say discussion, I really mean argument. Robotic mowers give a better finish than cylinder mowers.
No. Who says that? The guy selling them?
Me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, you're pro them.
I've got a robotic mower doing my backyard, and I have used a cylinder mower to do my backyard.
Yep.
And I know there's room for disagreement about what constitutes a really good finish. But at the end of the day, I think a robotic mower is better for your lawn and gives you a better result than a cylinder mower, unless you really need stripes. But stripes itself is it's a aesthetic thing, not actually necessarily about what's best. It's just a personal preference.
Yes. To be honest, I've never seen a robotic mower, so I can't really comment.
Okay.
And you don't see many of them here, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared of someone stealing it.
Yeah, well, the robot mowers I'm using have got GPS tracking on them.
Yep, okay.
So, yes, it could be stolen, and yes, it's possible the person stealing it might realise that it's being tracked and chuck it in the creek.
Yep, fair enough.
But it's unlikely, and I haven't had that happen.
No, I've seen a few pop up, and they look good, but never seen one. So, if that happens, then our industry could go down the gurgler over here.
Well, I must say it's going to be coming to your area, and it's going to become more popular. But in terms of the percentage of lawns in Australia that will be done by robotic mowers, it's never going to be a large percentage.
I can see, I know over here, the size of the blocks in these new suburbs are just small. So I could see the need for that. But when you've got these old school, 12, 1,500 square metres of blocks with 700, 800 square metres of lawn, it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I actually think the robotic lawnmowers work best between 200 and 1,000 square metres. I think that's where they are really good. And there are plenty around that will do, I've got one that's doing 5,000 square metres. So it's 1.25 acres. But once you go down to the really small properties, usually it's going to probably not be worth putting a robot on there.
Yeah, okay. How does it go? How do they go with the edges and things like that?
So they don't cut edges like a whippersnipper will. They will go somewhere close to an edge. So you still need somebody to do the whippersnipping.
Yeah.
And vertical edging.
Yep.
And, all your gardening, all those sorts of things still need doing.
Yeah.
So the robot mowers also typically are going to cut a little bit taller than what you will with a cylinder mower.
Yes. I guess you can get down to 5-6 mil. Not that you would, but 10 to 12 mils your general height.
For a golf course, a robot mower could do most of the golf course and just leave the greens for a greens mower.
Yep.
But on a home lawn, if a robot's doing it at, say, 25 mil, which is typical lowest cut height for a robot mower, then for a lot of people, that's going to be okay. And if you're used to cylinder mowing, it's probably a little bit on the tall side.
Yeah, 100%. I find the ones that I'm cutting on 25 mil the cylinder, they're getting verti mode.
Yeah, fair. So if you go and put a spacer under the blade on a robot, you can, and I know people that are running 20 mils, 15 mils, 10 mils, and you can go lower than 10 mils, but I think 10 mils with a robot mower is pretty fantastic.
If it can go that low, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one aspect, but I think the biggest aspect there comes down to cut frequency, and this is an interesting one. I want to talk more about what you do rather than taking a deep dive off this other cliff. But the reason why I like robotic mowers over cylinder mowers is because it's out there cutting every day. So cut frequency is really important in terms of the quality of your lawn. And a robot's using razor blades, which means that the actual cut quality on the blade is really sharp as well.
Yep.
So in terms of your lawn benefiting from everything taken into account, the robot's cutting daily and it's cutting really sharp, crisp edges on the blade of grass so that you're not getting damage to the turf and you're not getting the compacting on your turf.
Yep.
So those aspects alone, I think, put the robot in front of most. But the cut frequency is kind of combated in a sense because if you look at a typical rotary mower, which a robot is rotary, then typically one pass is going to cut about 40% of the grass.
Yep.
Whereas a cylinder mower, depending on the number of blades on the cylinder, then it's going to be cutting somewhere between 70 and 100% of the grass each pass. So you probably do 2 or 3 passes on cylinder mowing if you're going for the striped effect.
If you are, or cross-checkered, but if your cylinder's sharp, generally, and you're mowing it quite regularly, sometimes one pass is enough if it's not too patchy.
Yeah, because it does such a good cut.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas your robot, because it's cutting daily, it's still going to result in a really good finish, but it means 40% of each pass rather than 100%.
Yes, it's interesting. I'd actually I'd enjoy it. I guess over here I'd enjoy seeing how one works properly.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a variety of options available, so it might be something you want to have a look at later. But anyway, not trying to preach to you. Just
get me out of business.
Definitely not. I think you'll find that your customers are still going to prefer your cylinder mowing. And
I'd say it's probably no different to customers that get fake grass installed. Like the percentage of that compared to having lawn is quite small as well.
Look, I think buyer's remorse is a real thing, right? So if you go from cylinder mowing to robot mowing, buyer's remorse is probably going to be small percentage, but it will be there. If you go from cylinder mowing to fake lawn, I'd say buyer's remorse is going to be somewhere close to 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people have been asking about which brand of battery tool to buy, and I don't like to recommend one brand of battery for everyone or every situation. Dealer support and access to parts and service all play a big role in that decision. Some brands have better tools for specific needs or each product category. I've been using a variety of brands, and I endeavour to provide unbiased interviews on Aussie Lawn Stars with as many of those product brands as possible. I reached out to Ego Power Plus through the podcast because of how Barry supports the industry and Ego owners. Barry has impressed me with his loyalty to customers in providing support and listening to the needs of the industry, which has resulted in a full lineup of new commercial tools landing in Australia over the last 12 months that has positioned Ego as a leader in the commercial tool space for outdoor power equipment. Visit egopowerplus.com.au to see if they have the tools you need today. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of what you do, the majority of what we look at in West Australia is cylinder mowed, whereas in the normal world, it's rotary mowing. And on top of cylinder mowing, you also do some other crazy things. So your irrigation, reticulation, your lawn renovations, your treatment plans.
Yep, it's pretty big business over here. I found, I never realised it took me, I think 2019, I bought a verti mower and an aerator.
Yeah, okay.
Mainly, I was getting asked to do it, but I was passing it off to other contractors, and I just thought, I want to learn to do this because I I heard some of the rates they were making. I'm like, this is great, like good money.
So that's halfway through your business life so far before you started doing the renos.
Yep. And and that's what I mean. If I could have my time over again or tell someone to do it, I'd be 100% say get in earlier. Get the machines earlier and do it, because you can, especially when you get to the start of spring and your frequencies are still quite low on your mowing, you can really have a good boost of income out of winter. And that's what I enjoy about it. Like we started vertimowing last week, and it's I've got a big backlog of jobs to get through.
So, before you started offering these services yourself, what percentage of your customers would have been asking for it?
Oh, not many, to be honest. It's actually a service since I've started doing it. I've actually, because at first you go, someone's lawn's really spongy, and they ask you, what can I do with it? And you don't actually know.
Yeah, true.
So I've actually taught myself or done the research and found out the benefits of vertimowing and even aerating to an extent, how good it is for your actual lawn. You're not trying to push these services onto people because it's just a money maker. It's actually a really good benefit for their lawn.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the good thing about it. Yes, you make good money out of it, and I had this discussion. I actually ran a contractors demo day on Friday. I had about 5 or 6 guys rock up, which was great, and a couple of guys have been in their business for 10 years. A couple are quite early in their business, and they just blown away. Firstly, by the cost of the machines, but they can now justify why people are charging what they charge to have these services done.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's just taken over my business, the lawn renovation. It's been a really, really beneficial thing to add in. And you increase your knowledge, you can gain more work out of your regular clients. You're not searching for as many new regular clients.
Yeah, okay. So clients that you already have, you add value rather than finding new clients.
Yeah, 100%. Because as soon as I can spot a lawn now that 100%, like you can look at it and understand what needs to be done to it to fix it, and if you can convince them to do it, the way the lawn comes back is just it's just tenfold to what it was, and they actually see the results and they go, "Oh yeah, you were right," or they just like it's just a very satisfying doing it and seeing it.
Now, a couple of things I'd like to put in front of the listeners at the moment. Vertimowing is different to scarifying, isn't it?
Yes. So I've got a vertimower and a scarifier. So the scarifier are blades on the machine that basically just digs out the dirt and the grass. Yep. Vertimower is more of a disc with a serrated teeth that then pick that up and then can munch into it a bit more. So, you're using the scarifier to really dig up the ground, but then you're using the vertimower to basically clean up the job and go over it different ways to make sure you're getting all the roots out, all the grass out of the ground, all the thatch.
So I don't do this myself. Is a scarifier more like a rake, whereas a vertimower is more like a cutting?
They both cut. So your scarifier, you'll just leave mess. There's no catcher on it. It just basically, you run over it, and it just basically leaves. You find with the vertimower, if you use that from the start, it takes a lot longer to get that thatch level out, where the scarifier really chews into the ground and really churns it up and gets it out a lot easier.
So you use both to achieve the end result rather than one or the other. And
the scarifier makes the job a lot quicker as well.
Yeah,
and it can really, if you get a really stubborn lawn that's really thatchy, I only got a scarifier 12 months ago, and since I've had it, it's blown me away how big a difference it makes to the job.
So I was talking to a New South Wales contractor about this last week, and because, like I was saying to you earlier, the New South Wales or anywhere up the East Coast, we get enough rainfall, we've got good enough soil quality that it's not unheard of, but there's not a lot of call for lawn renovations or lawn treatment plants.
Yep.
So there certainly are, in my area, plenty of lawns that are spongy or, soil goes hydrophobic when it's dry for more than a few weeks at a time. So there is cause for thinking about these things, but most customers are not going to ask for it, and only are they going to see value in it when it's conditions such that those things cause adverse effects. So a spongy lawn is not going to cause adverse effects most of the time. It's just going to be if anything, they're like, oh, I love how soft and spongy my lawn is.
Yeah, you get some. But I think mowing a spongy lawn with a rotary is totally different trying to mow with a cylinder mower, because
For sure.
you can't. The finish with a cylinder mower and a spongy lawn is totally different. It scalps it. It just you can do it, but you don't get the best result.
Well, the other thing is a rotary can also have problems with spongy lawn like that. You find that you can get on a spongy lawn with a rotary that it can dig in the most annoying of places and just leave that little helicopter pad.
Yeah, I find as well over here, like maybe it's to do with the temperatures and that, but you get a lot more if you with the sponges and that, you get a lot more lawn diseases and things like that spread through your lawns.
Yeah, okay.
So by not, it creates a lot of that, because we got retic, it doesn't let the water sink in as much. So a lot of people are having to, use 4 or 5 times the amount of water just to get their soil wet. Yeah. Because we don't have as much rain. So there's a lot of benefits from it. And the ones that, not everyone has it done, and a lot of people won't spend the money to have it done, but you do. It's getting more and more popular over here. And it's certainly pushed a lot more on, you see it on people's pages on Facebook and everything so much more now.
Well, a lot of diseases that are Perth diseases.
What? It's probably general disease everywhere. You see a lot of spring dead spot this time of year.
Well, this is it. A lot of those diseases you don't see up the East Coast, or people are not used to it, so they don't know how to diagnose it when they do see it. So most of the time you don't see dollar spot or any of those dry spot type issues. And when you do start to see them, it's because we've had no rain for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden everything goes from beautiful to brown and dead. And it's like, the drought will be gone soon, and once it's gone, we'll have green lawn again.
Yeah, we see that a lot. You see a lot of fungal stuff, and it's all treatable as well. Yeah, but it's also preventable if you.
Yeah. So let's talk about this from another aspect, because I feel like this is a aspect which in WA you guys do well. In the rest of the country, there's only little spots, little pockets here and there where people actually do it. So if we look at a typical residential customer, and I've talked about a residential customer being worth $1,000 a year when I was starting 14 years ago, and typically now a residential customer in my area will be worth somewhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a year. Right, that's just a basic customer, not a fancy customer, not a West Australian Perth customer, right? So if you look at it from that point of view and you go, okay, a basic customer is Mob Logo, or if you're a little bit professional and not a cowboy, then you do everything in the right order at least, but it's still only mowing.
Correct.
Whereas once you go and offer a customer a package, and a package might include. You tell me what you include in a package, but I'm going to suggest it might include a treatment plan, a fertilizer, a weed treatment, and bug treatment, and then you might also include in your higher end packages your Vertimo, Scarify, aeration.
Yep. I don't do a lot of packages. I've tried them in the past and haven't found them very effective. So there's different ways. I know people that are making work really well, but my focus is just to get more clients, and rather than, you can. I offer the fertilizing, the weed control, all those services, but I try to do them as add-ons and including them in a package.
Right. Okay.
I just find, and then you start to, over time, you develop the same customers want the same things every year. So you just start making lists of people that will want it, and you can create it that way. The ones that are happy to, just fertilize it when they want it fertilized. They don't need it built into a regular price. They're happy just to pay it as a one-off when it needs doing. Because I find it plays my mind sometimes of wanting to package everything up and put it in a mowing charge based on a certain amount of mows a year. But if those people then, if you do a less, a couple of less mows than you think you're going to do, then it affects that profitability of the service. Yeah. So I just like to offer it as we go. That's why I found doing these newsletters. They're getting a 75% open rate when we send them out. The ones that don't want them are unsubscribing, but the ones that are unsubscribing probably aren't going to take the add-on anyway. So they're getting the information that way. Then they're contacting me when they want it done, and I just find that what works well for me. But generally at the moment, so I've got that big a list of weed control to do. I haven't done a lot of pre-emergent previously. I find it's a hard one to sell where people don't want to pay for something they can't see.
Yeah.
So there's a few that have asked about it, but they're like, "Oh, I'll let it go," and then I might get a weed treatment in winter, then another one in spring. But that fertilizing, they're the two main ones that are pretty generic that I do a lot of. But I've just started to push verti mowing and aeration so much more every year. It's sort of the side of my business is growing bigger every year, and just naturally you get a lot of repeat people coming back, but then you get a lot of people that you do it to, and then their neighbour will see it and go, "Oh, get them to come to mine," and then you pick it up that way. So it just gets bigger and bigger every year.
So I want to understand your dollar value on customers. I've talked about this from the point of view of going my worst customer, best customer,
Yep.
and my most painful customer. So my worst customer is still a good customer.
Yep.
But my worst customer is basic lawn. Okay, I turn up, I mow, I leave. There's $2,000 in the bank each year.
Yep.
Right. My best customer is one where I have a relationship with them, which means that they want their lawn to look decent and they want a little bit extra. So that might include going from the basic mow to going, okay, once or twice a year, we're going to do some weed treatments. Twice a year, we're going to do fertilizer. And that's probably about the extent of where I've gone in terms of a good customer. I haven't gone to offering a lawn reno on top of that. But if I say my worst customer is $2,000 a year as a residential job, and if I convert them into my best customer, they might be somewhere around $2,500 to $3,000 a year.
Yep.
Whereas if I offered the full range of options there, so full lawn reno as well as all of the lawn treatments, I might go, all right, the high-end customer or the most painful customer is going to come in at somewhere around $5,000 or $6,000 a year, just based on the average lawn size for a residential job.
Yep.
How does that look for you?
To be honest, I know what my dollar value of my customers are, and I base my customer value on just the mowing side of it, and then I've never actually probably broken down each individual client what I get out of them every year, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know their cut value and obviously what they are a customer to how many times I mow it a year, and you could work that out. But I think I'm sitting at 550 regular lawn mowing clients at the moment.
Yeah,
so it's a big task to go through every single one. So I've probably I build relationships with my customers. So if I'm suggesting something it needs, a lot of the time they'll say do it because they know I'm giving them the right advice to actually improve it.
Yep.
So I've got to that point in my business where, probably a big proportion of my customers are happy with me just to take control if something needs it, because you need to, in WA, if you're not fertilizing or if you don't have retic on your lawn, it's just going to dry out and die in summer.
Yeah.
So people want their lawns to stay green and they're happy to rely on me. And that's sort of the ones that haven't I've sort of weeded them out over the years, the ones that don't have that mentality.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a luxury you get to. So I said, I know there's some customers that are just happy that do their own fertilizing, do their own weed control, but as long as I just tell them what you need to do it now, happy to give them that advice.
Yeah, okay.
And they like that relationship, having that. And if for some reason they can't do it, they'll always get me to do it.
Yeah.
I buy fertilizer in bulk, so I've even got customers that I sell bags of fertilizer to at a $20 markup on the bag that I'm buying it for.
Yeah, and
then at least I know
they can get it.
And then I say to them, chuck it on now, chuck it on this time of year. I'm already at their house mowing their lawn. It's not hard just to grab a bag of fertilizer off and chuck it in their garage and add it to the bill.
Yep.
And then I just tell them when to fertilize. So that little things like that, you can make little profits here and there from that just by doing things like that. But adding in the bigger services, the bigger value services, sometimes you got to educate the client why it needs it and why you got to spend this amount of money. A lot of them say no, we're not in a position to do it, and then he's explained that if your lawn gets scalped or it's struggling this summer, this is why.
Yeah,
so you're also educating, which it takes a long time to build that knowledge.
So if you offer a customer Scarify and aeration or Vertimo aeration service on top of their regular mowing, would you say it doubles the value of the customer, or?
I wouldn't say double. So I guess an average, if we work it out, 100 square meter lawn, I'm probably charging $50 to mow it, just a front lawn. So if you're doing that 20 times a year, that's $1,000. I'm charging $7 a square meter for basically verti mowing, aerating products. Take it away. So that that's $700 job compared to $1,000 for the
Yeah, so it's
average
not
on
quite
20-year
double, but it's
service.
getting up there.
Yeah, you're probably 75% increase on what you're making from that mow. So that's just working off those figures, just on a 100 square meter lawn.
And this is interesting because I see a massive disparity between those new suburbs where the lawn is 100 square meters and the old suburb where it's 1,000 square meters.
Mm.
So people in an old suburb, they're probably not going to take you up on a full lawn reno.
No, not for that big. Not at all. I said that. I think that 600 square meter one I did, the one I did the other day, 450, 500, whatever it was, is probably one of the bigger ones I've done.
Yeah.
Generally, it's just your residential properties that you do them on, and you're between 100 and 200 square meters.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe 250. I've got a couple that I'm doing around 250. So
this is one of the things I've been looking at up the East Coast is going, okay, if you offer a service like this, then your value is dependent on the type of property that you're offering it to. And that doesn't mean that the larger properties won't get value out of it, but do they want it? And at what level are they willing to pay? So are they willing to pay your basic package where you go, okay, instead of it just being lawn mowing, you're going to do a weed treatment and fertilizer basic package on top of that? Or are they actually interested in going, well, we get so much good value out of a full lawn reno that it's worth doing it?
Yep, you just got to learn. Like I said, you got to educate them. I just found you got to educate people, and if their lawn starts to turn to shit or something's happening, you need to let them know why it's doing it, and if you want to fix it, this is how I can fix it. So I've started to I've really worked on my education side of things with my clients' lawns, and that's really where you build that trust, and they sort of trust you to just go, yeah, if you think it needs it, do it. But it also comes down to money.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something to factor in. If you're talking about your starting suburb in West Australia where you started your business, the customers have got a little bit of money to burn and they want to make sure their place looks decent.
Yeah. I picked up one the other day, and it's not a bad-looking lawn, but he just wants the best lawn on the street. So he wants it to look as good as it was 5 years ago when it was first laid. And it's got a little bit thatchy over time, and he goes, I don't care the price, just do it. So there's those ones are out there. They're the easy ones. And there's also a lot of people over here with the WA Lawn Addicts page. There's 40,000 people following it, and they all know exactly what verti mowing is. They'll reach out and find a contractor in their local area, and you don't really have to sell them what it is because they've already done their research. So a lot more people over here are now educated on what the service is and what the benefits of it is. And, a lot of people do it themselves and go, I can see why you guys charge what you charge now.
Yes,
it's a hard slog, but also, I think my verti mowing gear that I've probably got 30 grand worth of gear.
Yes.
So you like anything, you need the tools to be able to do the job. So definitely. It's certainly I've enjoyed learning about it and developing that skill in my business over the last sort of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, well, I can see in my area, to get the most benefit out of a service like this, you've got to look at the type of soil that they're working with. And in WA, I think you're mostly working in sand.
Yeah.
Whereas around my area, you're going to have a mixture of silt that's been left in areas where it's low-lying, where the water's flowed through. You're going to have a mix of really hard clay and rock that you need to break up, and then other areas which are sand or a deliberate soil profile that's been created. So if you go into somewhere where it's clay and you're going, well, they're going to benefit from aeration, but can you find an aerator that's going to penetrate the clay?
It's going to be a lot of bouncing, isn't it? It's me jumping up and down, and that's where topsoiling is another big thing over here. You topsoil your lawn, you get that soil into, because like you said, it's very sandy. And a lot of these new home builds these days, they're not putting anything underneath. They're putting building. They put, you aerate a lot of lawns now, and from a new build that's not too old, and you're ripping up bricks and stuff with the aerator. It's just black sand, and topsoiling is big now. We do quite a bit of that, and it just improves the quality of the soil and the root system. So that's another thing we do a lot of too, and it's getting more and more popular.
Yeah, so top dressing or top soiling is something which, again, looking at the very diverse soil profiles in my area, if you've got a clay base and you're penetrating that clay base while it's wet so that you can actually make some holes in it, then you probably need to get a mix of compost or manure and sand into those holes so that the grass then over time, over the course of 3 or 4 years with lots of aerations, you start making a difference to that clay. Whereas in areas where it's not clay, you're going, okay, do I need to just add a little bit of sand on top to give it a bit of a leveling, or do I need to add more compost and manure content, so more fertile soil for the grass to get its nutrients from?
Yep, definitely. And that's a lot of that stuff, like especially aerated rates. Right? I haven't dealt with much clay grounds. I can only imagine how painful it would be trying to do this sort of work with clay. But it's like it's just like I said, it's all about education. I'm just teaching people, to have a nice, healthy top lawn, you got to have a nice, healthy soil profile, like root system below the ground.
Yeah, well, I have seen a clay soil which wouldn't grow grass turned into a really nice buffalo lawn over a few years from all of that hard work. So it can be done, but if you go and try aerating that clay in the middle of drought, you've got rocks in your head.
Yeah, but no, luckily we don't have lots of that over here, so I haven't had to deal with that too much. But it's certainly something, in different areas in Australia, if you're offering that sort of service, you're going to come up against it, and you got to know how to get around it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.